Hey everyone. So I know it's been a couple months since I've really posted a video. January life threw me a curveball, and which in turn made me have a lot of free time in February. Today is February 19th, which also happens to be my birthday. So with all the free time, I decided to go through and just reorganize the house, since my house is filled with various video game collectibles and such. I thought I'd at least maybe do I guess a part of a room tour or something like that. I guess you consider this part one. We're gonna kind of go through the living room and kind of see where I spend most of my time at. So what you're seeing right now is the sectional where I sit and I hang around on my PC or my laptop and hang out with friends. And my living room is kind of an odd area. It's actually split into two areas. This is what I call the modern area, which has the newer systems, and in the back is the retro area. So as you walk in here, to the right is what I call the controller arsenal. I found some really cool clips that allowed you to kind of display controllers, and they fit just about every controller. So I change this up whenever I'm feeling, different or whatever. Currently, I just have the modern stuff for the Wii, the Xbox One, PS3, PS4, and then I have two guitar controllers, which I've sold off the games. I don't play Rock Band, but I thought they looked really cool, and nobody wants those controllers anymore, so they sit. I have a large LCD screen, which I use at tournaments. The thing about this in particular of why I kept this one around is because it actually has a VGA input, which is great for games like Soul Calibur on the Dreamcast. So, and it's real light, it's real easy to transport, and it's large, so it gives you a real nice, crisp picture for those older games. Of course, my subwoofer and my controller, or my charging docks for Xbox One and PS3. Coming around here is the main entertainment center, a 46-inch Samsung TV. It's not huge by any means. It's actually an older screen. It's about 10 years old, but it still works well, at least for my needs. Starting at the right, we have my 360 arcade sticks with the Mortal Kombat Tournament stick in the back there. Down here, you'll see my Wii, my GameCube pad, Xbox One games, Xbox 360 games, and then I did a video on all of my PlayStation 3 games already. Over here we have more arcade sticks and an Ouya, which I regret ever backing that because I've only maybe turned it on twice and haven't done anything with it at all. Some spare buttons for Street Fighter, which I have yet to put into any arcade stick. I'm not even sure what I'm going to do with those yet, but that's where they sit. My Xbox 360, Xbox One, and PS3, which are all currently connected. And down here, my shelf collapsed, so the PlayStation 4 got moved up here. And this is the Batman Limited Edition PS4, my Xbox One Kinect, my Wii sensor bar, and I'm currently playing King of Fighters on the PlayStation 4. And there's my Ouya controller and my PS4 controller. And that's all connected through a Yamaha stereo speaker set. Down here is just extra cables that I use, or headsets and such for streaming and whatever else. Also hidden up here is a Neo Geo X console and arcade stick hiding back there. Over here is where the animes and Blu-rays and DVDs sit in that cabinet. Up on top here, of course, we have the Lego Dimensions, the Sonic pack. And then we've got my bookends for Lilith and Morgan from Darkstalkers that I got at Midwest Gaming Classic last year. Finally found a place for those, and they're holding up my PS4 collection. I also have my limited edition of Street Fighter 4, Senra Kagura, and Blaze Blue Collector's Edition. Swinging back around here, we've got plenty of seating area. I really like these. These are actually modular love sack seats, and I've got a second one over here, which I'll show in a minute, but I used to have them as a kind of a love seat for a while, or you can change them around or do whatever you want. My plan was originally to get more of these, but they're discontinued. I was getting piece by piece over time, and it got kind of expensive, and I stopped that. Fireplace, which doesn't work. Also throughout, being that my name is TJ Kitsune, my friends tend to send me fox trinkets, so I have little foxes and Fox things around the house. Of course, my Mega Drive Megatron I've shown off before in the past, and that leads us into the retro area. Now over here is kind of a piece in work, I guess. Over on this side is where the Sonic the Fighters arcade cabinet usually sits. Currently, it's at Greg's. I'm hoping with the fact that the weather is warming up, we'll get a chance to look at that now that's been 2 years since that monitor went down. We're still trying to figure out how to get it running again. All that's left is the bezel back here you can see of the arcade. But that's where it'll be when it comes back too. So, and this is where I sit and play all of my Sega stuff. Fortunately, a couple months back, I had a big surge that went through my house, and it blew out that TV, the surge protector it was on, a lot of other surge protectors I had throughout the house, and a lot of light bulbs. So I ended up having to replace a lot of lights. I do have a replacement for the TV, but I just don't have it up here yet. So, but this is normally where I would sit. I have a nice plush chair that's great for gaming, and it has the right length in between for the cords for all these wonderful Sega systems. Coming over here is my small Genesis collection. I've got some heavy hitters in there. I'm not really going to point them all out. You can kind of see for yourself what I've got. A lot of this all has nostalgia memories for me. I don't plan on expanding any more than this. If anything, it might shrink. Genesis, even though it's one of my favorites and I grew up, it was technically my first console system that I had. There just wasn't a whole lot of games on it but that I enjoyed, but there were a handful that I really wanted to keep. So that's what I have. Coming down here we have the Saturn, the Sports Edition Dreamcast, a Sega CD-X, a Model 2 Genesis with Sega CD32X, and a Dreamcast arcade stick. Hiding behind the tinted glasses here, there's a slim PlayStation 2 and an original Xbox. You can actually kind of see the Xbox remote right there. But that's where that sits. Normally this is all connected through that big switch box that sits up there. And I have some extra copies of Sonic Spinball that I was testing. I only think one of those works. And of course my flyer for Sonic the Fighters. Coming around here, this door where Morgan is guarding actually leads into my office. That's where I do my streaming and where my Sonic the Hedgehog collection sits. And we may revisit that in part 2 if I get around to it, or once I get that room kind of cleaned up and reorganized. Up here is mostly my retro video games. Up on top you'll see some Vita Collector's Editions, which I had no room for. But over here is the Dreamcast collection, and if you've seen in my past videos, I've finished that up, so that is a complete US collection. I don't have the variant covers, so you'll see there's no orange labeled variants. I may get those, but it's like I already have the games, so what's the point? My import Dreamcast games, import Saturn games, my small Game Boy or Neo Geo Pocket Color games, and then, of course, all the Vita stuff. Then over here, I have my Neo Geo X arcade stick and box and game pack, and Conker sitting in his little tank from Conker's Bad Fur Day. That was a GameStop plush that they had sitting up a display that I managed to swipe from them a long time ago. A couple limited edition collector sets for 3DS and Vita. That leads into my PSP collection back there. My PSP Go, my PSP 1000, more Vita Collector's Editions, some PSP Collector's Editions, and my Sega CD collection. And then watches from Zero Escape and Virtual Last Reward, and some limited run stickers and postcards, which I had nowhere else to really put them, so they just kind of sit here in a pile. Oh, and there's a Ys soundtrack sitting there. So just Mod Podge of stuff. That leads down to my Blue Vita, my 32X games, my Saturn collection, some more collectible memorabilia stuff, 2 of my 3DS handhelds, my Dreamcast VMUs. It goes down to more Saturn games, my Wii games, and there's a couple Wii U games hiding in there somewhere, which, if you notice, I don't have a Wii U. My intention was to get one, and it just never happened. So, some art books coming down, a couple more collector's editions, and some GameStop exclusive Soul Calibur 2 figures that they had back in the day when the game was released on Xbox and PS2 and GameCube. I snagged Ivy and Spawn. Spawn was only available through GameStop as far as I remember. I don't remember all the details. It's been a while. Of course, we got Cammy back here, and joined by my handhelds, my small PlayStation 1 game collection, DS, 3DS, original Xbox games, and my PlayStation 2 games. So yeah, not a whole lot, kind of small compared to most other people's, but this is where I do most of my gaming. So maybe part 2 will come soon. I still got to get that room cleaned up, and we'll see some of the expansion to the Sonic collection, I guess. And some people have been curious to see how that is, but we'll see. But anyway, that's it for now, guys. As always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.